from the deep, dark hollers of southeastern Kentucky, where the moonshine is strong, the stories are strange, and your neighbor is probably your cousin. This is Appalachia, Not So Quiet. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Latest episode of Appalachia Not So Quiet. I'm your host, Hillbilly Phantom, and as always, I'm joined by my wife and co-host,
Appalachian Shade.
How you doing today, sweetheart?
Pretty good.
Pretty good? It was a nice day.
It
Again.
was. Yeah, really cool.
Yeah, we've been bragging on the weather a lot lately.
Definitely sweater weather.
Yeah, it was a lot cooler today than it has been. It's very cool in the evening time now. Starting to get that Halloween vibe.
No more barefoot weather. The ground is cold.
Well, you don't need to be going barefoot anyway. I keep telling you that. Too many critters you might step on.
Oh.
Ticks and bees.
Never had a tick bite me on the foot.
Really?
Yeah. I have been stung on the foot before.
Yeah, getting stung on the foot sucks. So welcome, everyone, to Appalachia Not So Quiet. We're glad to have you along on our little journey through the Appalachian Mountains. Now, every episode we try to do something a little different, but we do have certain themes that we kind of stick with, and one of them, of course, is ghosts. That was our last episode where we talked about some haunted bridges and roadways.
Yeah, that's usually our Monday episode, everybody.
Yeah, and then, of course, we've had several episodes on cryptids and angels, but we've also done missing persons because, unfortunately, there are a lot of missing person cases from around Appalachia, and these people are still missing.
Especially in Knott County.
Yeah, we have several in Knott County. We have talked about a few of those. We talked about Kelly Holland Jr., the young boy who went missing from Pine Tree Holler back in the early 80s. And, of course, we talked about Natasha Fugit Jones, who was not very far from us, and somebody that we both knew, sort of, and she's still missing. And of course, we had talked about the tragic story of Jaden Spicer, who was thought to be missing for a short time before it turns out that he was deceased.
Yeah, that his mother and stepfather took his life.
Yeah, that's still just a horrible story.
And we're still following that case as well.
So. Yeah, there's not been too many updates. There have been a few updates.
Now, the latest update that I read on that was there's like a short hearing that now the stepdad has pled guilty. Mom has pled guilty, even though she confessed. And this is kind of odd. At first, both think what I read it was sharing an attorney. Yeah. Now, Josh Gross has an attorney that his family is paying for. And now Felicia Gross, they said that she was being reappointed an attorney. So I'm not sure what happened there. They've not stated that if her attorney quit or what happened.
So for some reason she ended up without an attorney.
Yeah, so they're waiting for her to be reappointed a prosecutor.
Yeah, and they have to appoint one. Yeah, they've got all the court stuff is going on right now. So there's not really been a lot more information other than...
Their next court date's not till November the 15th. So we'll have more information on that around that time.
Yeah, possibly. We could have more to talk about then. Mm-hmm. But I think the only real big update on the case since we talked about it is the fact that it's confirmed now that the stepdad was involved. Yes. And he is being charged as well.
Yeah, that was one of my, what I said. He had to help her. There's no way that she did this alone. So, and that they also, it states that they manipulated their other children to
lie to
the police. So.
Yeah. So all those things that we were saying about, he had to know, he had to be involved, and the other kids had to have known something as well. That's all out there now.
Yeah,
but that's about the only update, really.
Yeah, we'll discuss that once we get more the court dates going and things like that.
So. Yeah, we're going to follow along with that court case. Yeah. We're definitely going to keep an eye on that.
We definitely want to see justice for Jaden. He definitely deserves it. And,
absolutely.
His family and community cared deeply for him, and they done him honor at his funeral. I mean, it was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
They even had a special casket made of Spider-Man.
Yeah, had a special Spider-Man
it was
casket.
just everything with Spider-Man. The community came together.
Yeah.
It's like the whole community just stopped that day to honor that child and really show the love that they may not have known him, but he was loved. And that's how these close knit communities are in Eastern Kentucky.
Yeah. That's how it works
great.
around here. We all come together and help out our neighbors when they're suffering or in need.
And his funeral was 100% paid for, everything.
So others in the community pitched in and helped make it happen because they knew that his aunts were the ones that were trying to take care of this, and they just couldn't afford it.
So it's safe to say that he is with his grandmother again in heaven, and they also had buried him next to her.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of a nice ending.
Yeah.
But there still needs to be justice. Absolutely needs to be justice for this little boy.
And something that this people of the state needs to advocate for. I know there's people that is against it, that maybe there might be an innocent person that is given the death penalty, but they've gone through the trial, and God will deal with it in his time if they were actually innocent. I think we need to
talking about somebody innocent getting the death penalty.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why they've paused it in Kentucky. There's not been an execution in Kentucky since 2010.
Yeah.
Now, will she, unless they up the charges, because her charges is just murder, it's not capital murder. Though I'm pretty sure that capital murder charges in Kentucky, you have to assault a police officer or some kind of first responder. But I want to think there's a part in there that says in a child under the age of 12, you can be convicted of capital murder. So if we can get the jury to convict her of that, or the judge, then we could seek the death penalty. But it's going to take people pressuring Congress as well to unpause the death penalty so that she gets dealt with.
Yeah.
So we need to open up and be like, we need death penalty back in Kentucky. Because I sound like a cruel person, probably, but she doesn't deserve to live. That's the way I feel about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I agree. I think in this case that the death penalty is completely appropriate.
I don't agree that my tax dollars should be used to give her 3 meals a day and a warm place to stay.
Precisely. Yeah, we don't need to be spending money keeping her up. Yeah, she needs to meet her end and rot wherever she's going to rot.
Well, we'll move on to that because we can get rather angered with that situation.
Yeah.
Because it just angers me how people can harm their own children. I
can't figure it out.
And you want to hurt a child? Come fight me.
Yeah.
Find me. Hurt me.
Yeah, try to hurt me instead of the child.
Yeah. Take it out on me. Just come knock me in the back of the head. Don't hurt them kids.
Yeah, I've never been able to understand that. It's just so insane. I don't know if that's something that's just kind of always happened, but we never heard about as much, or now that we have pretty much 24-hour access to the world through the internet, maybe we're just hearing about it more. But man, yeah, it seems like it happens way too often. These kids being the victims of the anger or ineptitude of adults. But for this episode, we're going to be talking about another person from Knott County who's been missing for 23 years. His name is Paul Aaron Bub Triplett. Now, I want to say, to go ahead and start with, we usually do this on these missing person things because we don't want to claim that like we're 100% correct or nothing. We just want to try to present the information that we're able to dig up. So we have a little disclosure here that basically says the disappearance of Paul Aaron Triplett of Knott County, Kentucky remains unsolved and is still considered an active missing person investigation. That's why we want to kind of read this disclosure, because it is still an open investigation. Mm-hmm. But all the information that we're going to present is drawn from publicly available sources, including news reports, online case archives, and statements from family members. While we will strive to present details as accurately as possible, some aspects reflect the opinions and perspectives of relatives, community members, or investigators and may not represent confirmed fact. So there you go.
I'm sure we're going to speculate some too of what could be.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, some of this will be speculation, but it is speculation based off of factual information and actual statements and things.
Mostly from the police report.
Yeah, that we have been able to dig up about this case. Listener discretion is advised, as this episode includes references to suspected foul play and emotional impact on surviving family. And of course, we want to say if you have any information about the disappearance of Paul Aaron Triplett, please contact the Kentucky State Police Post 13 in Hazard at 606-435-6069, or you can submit an anonymous tip to Bluegrass Crime Stoppers at 859-253-2020. Paul's family continues to seek answers and any information, no matter how small,
and
it could possibly bring them closure.
His sister also has an email address as well that you can email her anonymously with information if you want to. Her name is Heather Triplett, and her email address is hntriplett. It's TRIPLETT 1 at gmail.com. So you can email her there if you have any information as well. And this is case number 13020151. So if you want to reference this to the state police, that would be the case number you would give them.
That's right. And the missing person report, what you pull up pretty much anywhere on the internet, when you look up this young man, Paul Aaron Triplett, just about all of them have the exact same information. His name is Paul Aaron Triplett. His nickname is Bub. He was 20 years old when he disappeared. He was last seen on January 7th of 2002. He disappeared after dropping his girlfriend off at Alice Lloyd College. He was last known to be in the area of Flax Patch Road Hollow in Litcar, Kentucky. He disappeared after reportedly dropping his girlfriend off at the college. Paul never made it back home and has never been heard from since. Paul's truck was later found abandoned at Good Samaritan Hospital parking garage in Lexington, Kentucky. Authorities suspected foul play in the case, though no arrests were ever made in connection with his disappearance. Paul's mother and others believe he was murdered and knows the identity of the suspect, though that person is now deceased. The location of Paul Triplett, as well as the circumstances surrounding his disappearance, remains unknown. His case is classified as endangered missing and remains unsolved. So that's just like bare bones basic information, and the lovely Shade has done plenty of work on this case, and you've actually found some information that might even contradict what's in the official missing person report.
Well, a lot of, if you go and type in his name on the internet, though, a lot of the missing person flyers that they have posted still states that he was missing from Alice Lloyd College.
Right.
So we'll get into that. But the most recent billboard in Hindman, Kentucky, has on it that his last known location was Flax Patch, Kentucky.
Yeah, Flax Patch.
Well, Flax Patch Road, which is, it says Litcar on there, but if you're looking for a closer general area, I would look at Flax Patch Road, Ambergy, Kentucky, because it's like right there by Clarks Fork Lake area before you get
Ambergy, Kentucky.
Yeah, before you get to Perkins Madden Road.
Okay.
And some people even call it Irishman, but to me, Irishman Creek is like where the marina is across the way.
Across from that.
Yeah. So let's start out with his sister describes him as funny, outgoing. He liked to kid around and just a really, really good kid. He, of course, went to Knott Central High School. He was participating in football. And as time went on, he got interested in playing the guitar and joined like a local band. I guess him and some friends had put together. But during his 10th grade and 11th grade year, his parents went through a divorce, and he ended up moving away to Michigan to live with his aunt and uncle. After moving in with his aunt and uncle in Michigan, unfortunately, he had dropped out of school and he had applied for his GED. He had went to get that.
Yeah, many people have done that. I remember back in because this kid he's the same age as me, or he would be the same age as me. Because well, I think maybe a year behind me, probably in school. I may have actually even played music with whatever band this was he was in at one point, because we were always playing music with some of the local bands, and yeah, that would have been around the same time, 97, 98.
He had, done the testing for his GED and he passed, and he's waiting on his certificate to come in the mail. And actually, didn't show up until after he passed away.
Oh,
Well,
really?
he went missing. Let's say that he
Yeah.
went missing.
Wow, that sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. He dropped out of high school, but he was finally, getting his GED.
So in 1998, he became a father, roughly around the age, let's 17, 18, let's say. But he seemed, to be a hard worker because his uncle had offered him a job, and, they said he showed up to work. He was a worker.
Right. Yeah, that's probably what the GED thing was like. He had to have a high school education in order to be maybe somebody important in that business.
But, unfortunately, this area's susceptible to this. He became involved with the selling of oxycodone.
OCs.
Yeah, that was a big thing
Yeah,
back in the 2000s.
The epidemic that just about destroyed our area.
That was drugs was always prevalent in this area, but that one particular pill was what really rocked the world in Knott County.
Right. Well, I mean, you had these like illegal substances that were not that big of a problem, but they were around. You had people that were dealing like coke and stuff in the dark corners of Appalachia here and there. But man, when OCs hit,
yeah, that's when like the uptick of like a lot of overdoses and deaths and things just really started hitting this area.
Crime.
Yeah.
People were, doing some pretty dirty deeds to get their OC fixed.
Families tore apart because of this one particular substance.
Yeah. Yeah, this little pill. It really did. It just about decimated our entire area, our entire county.
So, yeah, he was heavily involved with that, and he was living in Michigan at the time, and the street value for that particular pill was actually selling for double in Kentucky. So he could purchase it in Michigan and bring it back here to Eastern Kentucky and double his money.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah, it was kind of becoming a problem everywhere. Man, here, yeah, you could get top dollar for an OC in Knott County, Kentucky.
Even if you had a prescription for them, it was like for maybe $5-6 a pill. But if you sold it on the street, you were making close to $60-$70 a pill.
Yeah, depending on
80,
how many.
I guess they go by milligrams or something like that. And it even went up from there. As the years progressed,
people would talk about the OC 80s and then the OC hundreds.
Yeah.
And it was like $1 a milligram.
And even if you weren't a person that used this, you knew about them. You knew all about them. It was,
you heard everybody talking about them.
Yeah. So, like I said, he would bring it down from Michigan and sell it here in Knott County.
I'm sure there were several people doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, that's big money to be made as long as you don't get caught.
He would go up there on Sunday, wouldn't come back till Friday. He was coming in every weekend with a load of this medication and selling it to Nick.
Yeah, come down every weekend, visit the family, and sell the OCs.
Yeah.
Wow.
Before he went missing, he came down to sell some medication. This guy had requested 100 Oxycontin, and he takes them to this guy's house, and he doesn't have the money. And so Paul's like, well, I'm not selling you this medication. So he takes it back home with him, and he leaves the medicine with his sister. But
that seems a little messed up right there that this guy would ask for that many pills, and then when they show up, he's like, "Oh, I ain't got the money.
Give it to me."
I guess, yeah, he
Yeah.
was maybe hoping for some freebies.
But he ends up, because he doesn't want to take the medicine back across state lines in fear of getting in trouble, so he leaves them
Yeah.
with his sister, Amanda. She's his oldest sister, and she's able to sell them for him because this guy didn't have the money, so she ended up selling them for him. And
Okay.
I guess
Don't know if it was the same guy that she sold them to, though, right?
this gentleman that Paul was going to sell to in the Flax Patch community uh, heard of this, and he got angry that Paul didn't sell them to him.
I was like, "Oh, those are my pills."
Yeah.
You know, I was just trying to get the money. You should have held on to them for me.
Yeah. And so he gets wind that Paul and his girlfriend are returning back to Michigan, and he calls Paul, I guess, on his way home on January the 3rd, and he's like, "Hey, you better bring me 200 pills this time, mister, and I want them ASAP." And Paul's not willing to come back until the 5th. He's like, "I don't come in till the weekends. You're just going to have to wait."
Who's this guy think he is? You know, the guy that's bringing his supply to him.
Right.
You know, he's like cussing him out, like, "You better bring me more."
So
I don't know. That seems
well, and the weird part about it is the family had said that Paul had never dealt with this guy personally, face to face. That was the weird situation about it.
so. He'd never even met
Right.
this
He
dude.
always had a middleman. Like when he came in, he would give like a trusted person that he knew the medication, and then they would take it and disperse and sell to other people. So he wasn't dealing with them directly.
Okay.
Yeah. But this time, this suspect was like, "Well, when you come back in and you bring me my medication, don't bring it to me until the day you're ready to go back to Michigan. Don't come before then.
Yeah.
Bring it to me that day you are leaving." So that's really weird.
Yeah. Why, if he was in such a tizzy to get this medication,
Right then,
why is he all of a sudden now like, right before you leave, come see me? And
right. So, the 5th was on Friday. Don't come see me till Sunday.
yeah.
So again, Paul didn't normally do this himself. He would just pass them on to his middleman and let them take care of the matter. So back, which would probably been like January the 5th, that early morning, Paul arrives and his girlfriend at his dad's residence to stay the night, and they stay there. And at some point the next day, Paul takes his girlfriend to Alice Lloyd College to, I guess she had classes to attend that day or something, and dropped her off. And then on the 6th, Paul is staying at his sister Amanda's house, and he calls his then girlfriend and asks her if her and her roommate wants to come over and watch a movie. And so it's snowing that night, and Paul and his brother-in-law, Amanda's husband, go to pick the girls up at the college and come back home. And the girls end up having to stay because the roads were just so treacherous that they couldn't get back out, so they had to stay the night.
Right. Yeah. Bad winter storm.
Right. So can't get nowhere. So in the report, it states that the said suspect had called Paul on the 6th while he was visiting his sister.
Wait a second. Time out. Okay. This is 2002.
Mm-hmm.
Did they have cell phones?
Yes.
Okay.
But here it was just spotty service. Like you basically had to be in Hyman to get service.
Right. That's why I'm like, right, cell phones, I know they were around, they weren't everywhere.
No, if you
in
were
2002.
up in a hall, we didn't have service.
And yeah, the service was pretty crappy. If you didn't have Appalachian Wireless, you didn't have service anywhere.
I was in high school then. That was my junior year. So if I needed to use the cell phone, I had to step outside of the school building to use the phone. It didn't pick up.
Right.
So
yeah, and I mean that's the way it was most places. You had to get up somewhere high,
yeah,
and not inside a building,
yeah.
Away from trees, and you had to stick one leg up in the air.
And then the report also states that the cops had questioned the girlfriend about his drug deals and stuff like that. and she didn't know anything about it. She wasn't
Come
involved.
on.
Right. That does
She
raise a red
knew.
flag.
She knew.
Yeah, I mean, if she was traveling with him to Michigan, she kind of had to have an idea.
Yeah, there had to have been at least a suspicion on her part.
So the morning of January the 7th, Paul left Amanda's house with his girlfriend and her roommate. And he's taken them back to Alice Lloyd College, and it's said that he dropped them off around 11 a.m.
Okay,
on Sunday.
so they spent the night because of a bad winter storm, and the
Mhm.
next day he takes them back to Alice Lloyd.
At 11 a.m.
Okay.
And the cops had questioned the girlfriend and the roommate, and they gave a statement to KSP that Paul had told them as they were heading back that he's headed back to Michigan, and that once he got good service and he got to Winchester, Central Kentucky, that he would call them and let them know he's made it.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. He had to wait till Winchester to have good enough service to call them.
And his sister Amanda, his older sister Amanda, also gave a statement that he had disclosed that he was going to stop by a good friend's house. And again, he would call her once he got to Winchester.
Yeah, Winchester, like I said, got good service there. So that's where he would call everybody and say, hey, I'm still on my way. I'm good.
So I'm going to assume the good friend is our suspect.
Yeah, that's what I would assume. This guy that was being so demanding, wanting his OCs.
So from Alice Lloyd to the Flax Patch Road community, he would have taken the shortest route, to me anyways, traveling the area, is 1393 to 582 to 160 to 15, and then from 15 he would have turned on to 1231. So roughly, which I mean, if it had snowed, let's say 20 minutes.
20, yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. So if on a good day, if this road was clear, I could do it in 15. So not that I should be driving that fast.
Well, yeah, but like you said, wintry roads, probably still snow and stuff on it from the night before.
He could have even crossed over through Malley Road and then got on to 582.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't travel that way, so it's just a little windy road. But I mean, if he was hiding around, maybe he did.
Maybe.
But if it was snowing, I don't foresee him taking that way. I really don't.
Yeah, he probably would have just took the most direct route.
Clear road. So he goes and sees the suspect in Flax Patch, and that's it. They don't hear from him. His sister Heather stated that Amanda was worried. He didn't call. He should have been to Winchester by now, even if he just stopped by, even for 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, he should have made it.
Yeah. By 3 o'clock that day, they should have heard something from him. Later that evening, Amanda tries to report him as a missing person. So she just has this gut feeling.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he should have been calling her around 3 o'clock when he got to Winchester. But then enough time had passed. He should have made it all the way back to Michigan, and he still hasn't contacted her.
Right. She calls KSP and tries to report it, and they're like, well, I'm sorry, ma'am, you can't. Report him. Has to be at least 72 hours. That was on January the 7th. She tried to report it.
Really? 72 hours?
72 hours.
Well, why do they always give you that? Because in movies, you always hear, oh, a person has to be missing 24 hours or 48 hours. You hear that on TV shows and movies. But supposedly, in real life, that's just BS. And you can report somebody missing if you have very real concerns that this person is missing.
Yeah.
And it sounds like they did. Why would the police tell her 72 hours?
Well, from what I read, is they didn't directly tell the police at first that it was drug related. They kind of said that he had gone to trade satellite cards. And so if you're not familiar with what that means.
Oh boy.
So
that was another plague in Knott County.
Yeah. There was a program that people put on their computers, and they were able to kind of jailbreak satellite cards from, like, was it Dish Network?
Yeah. Your Dish Network and your DirecTV and stuff, they had the little card It was a little digital card.
Yeah, that's how you got service.
Yeah, they sent you that card. You put it in your little receiver thing.
And it kind of like what your debit card has now.
Yeah. Yeah, it had a little microchip, and it basically had all the information about what you were allowed to view. Well, you could take that card and put it in a little card reader, hook it up to your computer, and use a special little program and break into it and set it so that you're allowed to view everything.
Yeah, or you could pay them like so much. If you wanted it completely jailbroke, you give them this much. If you only wanted certain channels, you
Yeah.
give them this much. And especially like when there was some good fights on, you would always send your card off and get free pay-per-view.
Yeah, you could get all the pay-per-views for free too. There's some big boxing match or UFC match.
Yeah.
Well, I had all kinds of friends that watched all the UFC pay-per-views for free.
Yeah.
Because they knew people who could jailbreak these cards.
At first, that's what his sister Amanda had kind of told the police that, hey, he went to trade these cards.
So she was leaving out the OC thing and just making it out like, oh, it's just satellite cards.
Well, I mean, your family. I get it. You don't want to rat them out directly and see them go to jail. You're just wanting to see them come back home.
Yeah, I can kind of understand, but at the same time, if you have just a horrible feeling because this person is missing, they haven't contacted you, and you are seriously worried, you're probably going to want to just say everything and, give them all the information.
Well, but if she was selling medication for him, then that would be incriminating herself as well.
Well, I mean, that's true. Maybe she was just trying to protect herself too. And like I said, I kind of understand.
To say that maybe his phone messed up or something or other, and she, there she is telling him everything right away.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
I'm just saying you should, but I understand why she didn't. She was trying to protect herself, everybody basically, because you start blabbing about OCs and the cops are going to be busting down your door.
So January the 10th, 72 hours after her brother has not responded to any phone calls or called and said, hey, I'm home, nothing like that, no contact. Amanda calls to report this to the police, but the initial report wasn't completed till January the 11th is what they stated.
Okay.
His sister Heather says that the officer that took the first initial report, though, failed to file it, and that all the information that they had given them was lost.
What?
Yes.
Wow. He just didn't file the report?
No, guess not.
What the heck? That's a major fumble on the police side of things.
Mm-hmm. And let me go back and state that. So this police report, it is numbered 1 to 69, but there's information missing.
Because it's an open investigation.
Right. That so could be,
redact information.
So now for years, it was reported that the last time Paul was seen, like I said earlier, was at the drop-off of his girlfriend at Alice Lloyd College. On January the 16th, the cop spoke to the said suspect and another man that they allegedly think that was Paul's middleman that dealt with said suspect.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The middleman he usually dealt with.
We'll say party A as the suspect and party B as the middleman.
Yeah.
And the cops go and question them, and they're like, we don't even know who Paul is. Okay. That was in the report. January the 17th, KSP has contacted National Guard to have a helicopter fly over like the Pippa Passes area around Alice Lloyd College and around the Irishman Creek, Ambergy, Flax Patch Road area because there's a strip job up there, a mountaintop removal job in that area. Okay. And then also the lake. So they're scanning these areas, and there's no sign of Paul or his truck.
Well, over in that area, you got the lake right there. So.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you can really see into that lake very good from a helicopter.
Right. Well, I know, like from the tailwaters, which I'm talking about, right at Litcar, where 582 and 160 meet. I call that the tailwaters area, where the first campsite is. From that area to the bridge where 160 and 15 meet is usually drained during the winter months. Like they let a lot of
Okay,
water
yeah.
out.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, the lake would have been low at that time. That's
yeah.
right. I did not
So
think
there
about
wouldn't have
that.
been anything there. But if he was in the flax patch area, the water is pretty deep
Yeah, that's like the deepest part of the lake.
because it's closest to the dam. And our water is pretty murky.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The lake is
So,
pretty murky. It'd be hard to see down
um,
in there from a helicopter or something.
I don't know how they've seen anything from the air.
Yeah, and I mean, it's hard to see things, flying over in a helicopter back in these deep dark hollers. It's hard to see stuff anyway. There's all kinds of
Well,
little places where
if they
things can be
done
hidden.
this in January and February, the leaves weren't on. That
Yeah,
was a plus.
yeah,
That
it
was a
was it
help.
was probably a little bit better, and everything was covered in snow, so anything that wasn't white was going to stand out.
So jump ahead to March the 14th, and there's a report came in that Lexington PD had found a 1998 green Chevy S10 truck, and it was located at the Good Samaritan Hospital in Lexington. And it was parked on level C, and it was backed in. It wasn't pulled in straight. They had backed it in kind of to, I guess, keep people from seeing the license plate on the back.
Probably.
And where it had been sitting so long, it had a lot of dust on it, and there was still salt residue on it from where he had traveled during snow.
Yeah.
So, and if you're not familiar with this area, we use what they call road salt, and that helps break down the snow and things off the road. It melts it really quickly, and usually that builds up on your vehicles as like a white powdery substance all across your vehicle.
Yeah, and if you don't wash it off, it will eat your vehicle alive.
So the police had found his vehicle, and while investigating, they opened the dash and they found a plate in there. I would assume it was like one for recreational use. So I'm gonna say that because you can't fit like a big dinner plate in a dashboard.
Oh, a plate. Okay, I was thinking a plate as in a license plate. You mean a plate as in something that
That's what I'm assuming.
was okay?
Yeah, I don't. A license plate's probably not even gonna fit in the dash of those little S10s back then.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, for some reason I was thinking license plate, but yeah, you're probably right.
There was a fingerprint found on the plate, but in the report, it seems that the police didn't follow up on that either. So we don't know whose fingerprint is on the plate.
So okay, so either they kept it out of the report, or they just never did an analysis
Or
of the print.
be one of the missing pages in the report. Don't know.
Yeah, and that seems unlikely.
Right. So also the report states in 2002, a witness was questioned, and the witness stated he seen the suspect assault Paul with a pistol, and that Paul had sustained a head injury and was bleeding, and that blood was pouring down his face. Then the witness stated that after that, he booked it out of there and left and went to an open space on the side of the road just below the suspect's house. And he seen Paul's truck go by, but it wasn't Paul that was the driver. It was someone else, and they had latex gloves on it.
Okay, so I wonder, is this witness that other guy?
Party B.
I wonder if he was the witness he finally talked. Yeah, maybe it was this middleman.
Yeah.
And the police finally got him to tell what he knew.
Some people had reported that the suspect had put Paul in a hand dug well on his property or property adjacent to his. They had put him in a hand dug well. There was there was also a report that came in that someone said that Paul was cut up with a blowtorch and then fed to some hogs.
What? Cut up with a blowtorch?
Yeah.
Man, that's like straight out of a movie or something.
And this particular witness who reported it had even offered to the cops that they would put on a wire, go to the suspect's house, and record that conversation.
Really?
Yet.
Well, I mean, there you go.
Right, but it's KSP didn't follow up on it. It's what they're saying. So didn't take that offer.
Why?
For that person.
Why would they not?
Right.
That's crazy. Everything is looking bad on the cops in this case. What in the world is going on here?
Another witness also said that Paul had made a statement to them that he had planned on disappearing to Mexico.
So Paul had talked about disappearing to Mexico before.
Then we're going to jump ahead from 2002 for those reports to 2007. And the police did follow up on this, and they looked into it that Paul's sister Amanda and her husband were gifted a trip to Cancun, and they were questioned about the trip. Yeah, that looked.
Wait. Gifted a trip to Cancun.
Yes.
Gifted by who?
Doesn't say in the report.
But that made the police suspicious.
Right. But, they looked into it and didn't find any, evidence that that's where Paul was. Also, in February of 2007, police found that someone in Michigan had been using Paul's social security number to pay bills.
Holy cow.
But then it turns out, they looked into that as well, and it was just an identity theft case.
So somebody just got a hold of his social security number afterward, and yeah, okay.
So from 2007 till 2016, the case kind of went cold.
So 9 years.
Yeah. So,
with nothing.
Nobody had heard anything about the case, and a new detective was assigned. And this detective, he went to investigate the property at Flax Patch, the suspect's property. The detective also had supposedly asked for a DNA sample from all of Paul's family.
Why would they need a DNA sample from all of his family?
No idea, but his sister Heather stated that she doesn't recall that happening at all.
Okay.
Yeah. So also in the report it says that they had searched a hand-dug well in the area, and the detective stated that he wanted to bring in canines, but the report doesn't follow up on that either. So I don't know if that happened, if it was left out of the report.
I really hope that a lot of this stuff is things that they just couldn't include in the report because of the fact that it's an open investigation. Because, like I said, it seems like the police are fumbling stuff all over the place if they never looked into a fingerprint and never took up an informant on their offer to wear a wire and basically, get the truth about what happened.
So in November of 2023, Paul's sister Heather found out that the DNA and dental records that they had requested be added in with the case hadn't been added in. So for 22 years they thought this information was in there. The family took the time and contacted his dentist that he had seen like in high school when he was down here.
Yeah.
And the dentist was like, "Oh yeah, I'll help you out." She made a copy of the information for the cops to pick up, and they never picked it up.
Oh, jeez.
And then the family also disclosed where they could find DNA of Paul, because in 1998 he became a father, but he done a paternity test to prove that he was the father of this child. And this happened in Letcher County, Kentucky. They contacted them. They're like, "Yeah, we'll have this information available for them to pick it up," but it was never picked up.
Man, I'm flabbergasted that the cops never did their job. It sounds like I said, I really hope it's just because some information is missing from this report.
So,
Because
the
man.
family's just shocked because they're just like, "Why is this information not in there?"
Yeah, why?
And Heather, is calling them and like asking, "Is this information in there? Why is it not in there? Did you all do this, this, and this? Is this in the case?" And she can't get any answers. So she does a records request. And sure enough, that's how she found, her evidence that wasn't in there.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's when they found out that cops hadn't even disclosed to them that witnesses had came forward, that they confirmed that her brother's last known whereabouts was in Flax Patch, on Flax Patch Road.
Not at Pippa Passes.
Right. That's where he was at, is the person that they had been suspecting all this time. That's where he was last seen.
Yeah. all the arrows point to the fact that he was at this place in Flax Patch. So that was technically the last place he was seen.
And that's when, they were able to read in the report too that they were searching for a body in a hand dug well after they kind of told them that they weren't going to look. The family had been stating that from day one, that this suspect was the last person to see him, and we know this is where he was at, but they were still reporting it, and like the internet still has it up there. His last known whereabouts was Alice Lloyd College in Pippapassas, Kentucky.
Yeah, and that's not the case.
No, so the new
that missing persons thing that I read at the beginning, it actually had been updated in 2024, December of 2024, and it had Flax Patch. But it also said he was last seen dropping off his girlfriend at Alice Lloyd College, and that's not the case. He was last seen at Flax Patch.
And Heather said that her sister Amanda had just been having this gut feeling and been saying since day one, she's like, I know he's been murdered. I just know it. That she, and I get it. I know, like, one of my siblings I get that feeling like something's going on with them.
Yeah. You don't hear from somebody for a while. You start to fear the worst.
And then, this report, and they find like details missing and things like that. So now the family, after 22 years, kind of feels like the police, maybe they didn't believe them.
Yeah.
They felt like, well, they didn't believe us enough to go searching for him or really dig to find answers. Or the family also speculated that maybe their hands were tied and the suspect could have been involved with the police somehow. Or there was something that was keeping the police from going after this guy.
Yeah, all these things that kind of seem like they were dropped by the police weren't looked into. Kind of makes you wonder, was this suspect, was he somebody maybe important in the community, in the county?
Yeah. I've not been able to find a name, but
we've not been able to come across any kind of name related to the suspect.
So, and then another report in November of 2024, the family stated that police finally took DNA sample from their mother, but there was no, evidence why they were doing it after so many years. Like, what was going on with the case? What was the update?
Yeah, they asked for DNA from all the family, and now they're asking for DNA from his mother. Man, it just doesn't make any sense.
So, and then the record also indicates in there that though the police searched the property, they didn't search inside the residence of where the suspect lived. They didn't go inside.
So they just looked around his property.
Yeah.
They didn't go in his house and look around.
Right. Unless that's not disclosed.
That seems like another
in the
ball
open
dropped.
records, right? To it still be an open case. That's a possibility.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm really hoping that, this information, the reason that you don't see his dental records and DNA records and all this stuff in the report is they're keeping it
under lock and key.
They're keeping it redacted from the official report because of the investigation for some reason. Because it just seems like so many fumbles by the police department. And I hate to think that our police would be that inept.
And here's another thing. So, Heather requested those records in 2023, and they didn't know that there was a witness that came forward. And the suspect had passed away in 2020.
They didn't even know about this witness.
No.
That claimed, I saw it. I saw him get hit in the head with a gun.
Yeah.
And then I saw his truck drive by, somebody else in the driver's seat wearing latex gloves. They didn't know anything about any of that until 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
23. 3 years after.
Oh, okay. 2 years ago.
3 years after the initial suspect passed away. So now, how do they get that evidence? How do they get that DNA?
Yeah, how are you going to really solve the case now?
Yeah.
The main suspect is now deceased. I just got to believe that there's a reason for the police. There's got to be a reason. It's just baffling that these things would not be looked into, investigated, processed, the fingerprint, all of it.
And I also found, this was 2 years ago, that this is a Reddit post, and this person allegedly is Michaela, Paul's daughter, Michaela Triplett. I'm not sure if that's her last name now. I'm sure she's an adult.
Well, yeah.
But their name is Anxious Aries, and
That's their internet
yeah,
handle.
that was their Reddit handle.
Okay.
And says the date of last contact was 1/7/2002. Last seen Flats Patch Hollow in Litcar, Kentucky. And they say, my dad has been missing since 2002, and very little has been done with this case. Family members have suspected from the very beginning that he was murdered by an individual he was meeting the day he was last seen. Our family was never informed that a witness came forward later that year, also confirming the identity of the suspect and claimed to witnesses an altercation between him and my dad that day. According to the case files, multiple people had came forward to identify the same man and that he had told or shown others where he put my dad's body.
Wow.
Despite the witness testimony and only the suspicious circumstances, police never followed through with properly investigating the potential suspect. Police never informed the family that they had started to suspect foul play and never publicly updated Aaron's last known location to the area identified by the witnesses. We only found out about this after requesting a copy of the case files in 2023. The potential suspect had already died many years ago, as well as the witness. I didn't know that. The witness had died too.
Yeah, the witnesses also passed away.
Dang.
Jeez.
Okay. Yeah. So.
Man, that that really kind of puts a halt to the whole investigation.
Yeah. She says no true justice was given to my dad. We just want his remains found and returned. No one deserves to stay in an unmarked grave. Aaron was a real person who was loved and is still so deeply missed. My family needs closure. The suspect owned a large piece of land in rural Kentucky, and during a walk of the property around 2006, an investigator identifies 4 whales. Although he asked to return with canines to do another search and received permission from the new property owners to do so, they never followed up on this. A new investigator has received the case as of 2023, but we fear that nothing will continue to be done with my dad's case. His case has never been a priority to law enforcement. Resources are limited, and there are many other cases taking precedence. And she also states that according to the case files, no significant investigations were done on the suspect, even after the witnesses came forward. The witness claims seeing a man who was not Paul Aaron driving his truck away, claiming he had borrowed it. The suspect died a few years later. KSP has just passed the case around this whole time, and other cases have taken priority. The new detective is hard to get in contact with and claims to be overrun with cases, but I agree that we need to push for him to do more.
Well, yeah, absolutely. There needs to be some answers. I hope that there is some other explanation, but if the cops just completely failed to follow up on these things and didn't do their due diligence in investigating this case because they were like, well, it's another dope head off the streets.
Yeah, that's why I'm feeling like, oh, well, it's just one less.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they do that. You kind of feel that way with Natasha as well.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, cops will sometimes kind of have that attitude of,
one less
oh,
to deal
well,
with.
yeah.
But they are people. But I mean, it's hard to just speculate that though, because man, we got some good cops too.
We do. That's why I'm saying that.
It's kind of
it's so
trying
baffling.
to pick out the good cops from the like
The good cops from the bad cops.
yeah. I mean, we just some of them that I know personally are amazing, and I think if they maybe have given the opportunity to seek out these cases, they probably would. Like,
yeah, I mean, we have some incredible law enforcement, but there's plenty of them out there that unfortunately have that attitude of, it's another druggie off the streets. No reason to look into it too deep. But like her Reddit post said, Paul Aaron Triplett is a real person. He deserves justice. They deserve answers.
Maybe if he had been around and gotten to experience life with his daughter, he may have changed. Sometimes your kids can change you for the better. So,
yeah, exactly. Substance abuse, especially the whole OC epidemic that really hit our area hard. It does not discriminate. It takes everybody. It takes sons, brothers, fathers, daughters, mothers.
every family's touched by them, even my family. And, when they came in and just literally ripped my family apart.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a common theme
and
around our area,
literally will kill each other over an oxy when they started. They would literally slit each other's throats if they had to get that fixed.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the sad reality of the drug epidemic is people will do anything to get their fix, including harming others and not just strangers, their own families, just so they can get their fix. So if you're willing to harm a family member over a pill, then it's going to be nothing for some of these people to, kill just a
random person that they're dealing with.
A random person or a, just slight acquaintance that they've been dealing with. It wouldn't be nothing because when you're on stuff like that, things like other people's lives don't matter to you. And when money's involved, it's even worse. People have always killed over money and riches.
Especially in this area because there's so little and everybody wants to get rich quick.
Oh yeah, everybody wants a piece of the pie. But it's very important that we remember these people that are missing that we still don't have answers for. Kelly Holland Jr., Natasha Jones, Paul Triplett, all real people, all with families that deserve answers and need closure. Paul Triplett is a white male that was born on June 26, 1981. He has brown hair, green eyes, stands 6'2", and weighed about 150 pounds. He had a goatee at the time of his disappearance. He has a triangle-shaped birthmark on the small of his back, a linear scar on his lower abdomen, a bird tattoo on his right shoulder blade, and a dragon tattoo on the inside of his right calf. If you have any information regarding the disappearance of Paul Triplett, contact the Kentucky State Police at 606-435-6069. And that goes for any of the missing persons that are out there. If you have any information, if you know anything, if you have just the slight inkling of an idea of what might have happened to these people or where they may be, please let somebody know. Let the authorities know. And maybe some more answers can be found. That's all the answers we could find in this case. And it's another one of those cases where we just wanted to kind of bring it back to everybody's attention again.
If you can't remember the phone number or anything, there is a billboard also in Hyman on display with all the information and a photo of him as well. But this family, though they want to seek justice, they just want to know where Paul Aaron Triplett is and give him the proper burial and funeral that he deserves so that they have their closure, because everybody deserves to know where their loved one is.
Yeah, nobody deserves, like his daughter said, no one deserves to be in an unmarked grave. Everyone deserves to be in a final resting place where their family knows where they are and, can visit them, put flowers on their grave, that type of thing. We kind of take that for granted, the fact that we know where our family members are, the ones that have passed on. These people don't. They don't have anywhere to lay a wreath on Memorial Day or anything like that. And once again, that's why we want to talk about these types of stories, get these things out there, because people in Appalachia, they deserve to know what really happened. We hope that Paul Aaron Triplett is eventually found and his family is given the closure that they deserve. We like to seek answers here on Appalachia Not So Quiet. Keep coming back and listening as we search out more answers to more of those strange, unanswered questions. We'll be back again on Friday. Don't forget to come and listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, Audible, and iHeartRadio.
And our social media accounts, X and TikTok. And we're still waiting on you to make that Facebook page.
Yeah, I'm still working on that. Give me time. I'm kind of slow. Like, share, comment, let us know how we're doing. we might have a milestone to celebrate soon. Our lessons are starting to get up there. We might hit that magic 1,000 pretty soon. So keep your ears open for our next celebration. I'm your host, Hillbilly Phantom.
And I'm Appalachian Shade.
And we'll see you on the next one. Till then, watch out for them boogers.